pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Present.
Trustee Sal?
Here.
Trustee Unger?
Here.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Here.
Trustee McFall?
Here.
Trustee Olet?
Here.
President Zaborowski?
Here, thank you. Looking for approval of minutes, regular and special board meeting, February 4th, 2025.
I'd like to make a motion for the village board to approve the regular and special board meeting minutes of February 4th, 2025. We've all had them given to us prior and a chance for review.
Second the motion.
Any discussion at all? I see none. I'll ask for roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sal?
He says aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zaborowski?
Aye, thank you. All right, new communication, item A, 2501, proclamation P 2025-01, proclaiming February 21st, 2025 as Al and Gina Emmons Day in the Village of Greendale in recognition of their extraordinary contributions to the Village of Greendale. So I will go ahead and read this. First of all, I want to say, miss seeing the little red car driving around. I believe it was a Mercedes. I just loved spending time talking with Al. The chimney art, that is just so awesome. I sat in his back room one day with him talking when I was running for trustee, and he had like stuff on a big table in that back room. I don't know if there's what that room was called, but he'll be truly missed. His wife, I did not have the pleasure of knowing her, but I have heard many great things about her. So I'm going to go ahead and read this here. So proclaiming February 21st, 2025 as Al and Gina Emmons Day in recognition of their extraordinary contributions to the Village of Greendale. Whereas Al Emmons Sr. and Virginia Gina Ann Nelson Emmons were dedicated and beloved members of the Greendale community, leaving a lasting impact through their service, business, and civic engagement. And whereas Al Emmons, a Greendale resident for over 65 years, which is truly incredible, holy cow, was instrumental in preserving and enhancing the architectural beauty of the village, most notably through his renowned chimney artwork and his role in continuing the sixth generation legacy of creative construction. And whereas Mr. Emmons demonstrated his commitment to Greendale by founding the Love Thy Neighbor Foundation to help seniors stay independent, co-owning Broad Street Coffee Company, and actively participating in community organizations such as the Greendale Lions, Pioneers, Children's Garden Historical Society, and Chamber of Commerce. And whereas Gina Emmons was once of the first babies born in Greendale, growing up to become a salutatorian of Pius High School, an accomplished scholar, and a role model perseverance, later earning a master's degree in microbiology and immunology, while raising a large and loving family. And whereas Mrs. Emmons dedicated her time and talents to public service as a Greendale Village trustee, a writer for the Village Life and the Greendale Originals Neighborhood Association, and a leader in numerous community groups, including the Greendale Pioneers, the Greendale Historical Society, and as a Girl Scout troop leader. And whereas together, Al and Gina Emmons embodied the spirit of Greendale through their dedication to family service and the betterment of the village, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire generations. Now therefore be it resolved that I do hereby proclaim February 21st, 2025 is Al and Gina Emmons Day in the Village of Greendale in recognition of their lasting impact, community leadership, and their love and generosity that they shared with all who knew them. Dated today. Thank you.
Are you going to get it?
present this to you guys, and then also, I don't know if any of you would want to say a few words.
Sorry about this.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Time to get on.
Should be, yeah.
Hello, hi. On behalf of the Emmons family, thank you so very much. That is very, very kind. And I was just thinking on the way over here that Greendale is very special and unique in the sense that it's like a quilt, and each one of us make up a little fabric of that quilt. You know, I look around, such loving people here, the village trustees, the board, the president, and the people that make up this quilt of this community. It's very special. I don't think you'll ever find another village or town or city place as unique as this. And it's important that we remember the matriarchs and patriarchs of our community. I think that too adds the reason why we're so special. You know, are we any better than anybody else? No, my father wouldn't think so. Although he did encourage everybody to participate in the community. So just thank you very much, really appreciate it, and we're going to celebrate their lives and what they meant to all of us and the impact on this community. My mother, Virginia, as you mentioned, it was a village trustee at one time, and so we do know how hard the job is. It's not easy. We appreciate everybody that spends their time volunteering and being a part of what makes this community so special. And we can walk and we can down the street and our kids can play and be safe. And, you know, there's so many parks, there's so many walks that you could do in this village. I have not found another place like it. So, and if I do find, I will let you know. But thank you again, very kind.
Thank you, guys. All right, next item, B 2502, proclamation, P 2025-02, proclaiming March 4th, 2025 as National Bakery Day in the Village of Greendale in recognition of their 100-year anniversary. You could do that, it'd be awesome. Thank you.
Sure. I am going to read proclamation number P 2025-02, proclaiming March 4, 2025 as National Bakery and Deli Day in recognition of 100 years in business. Whereas National Bakery was founded in 1925 by Louis Wisniewski, I'm Polish, I should be able to pronounce that, and through 3 generations of family dedication, it has become a beloved institution preserving Southside culture and tradition. And whereas in 2008, Bryant Krause and Jeff Callan took ownership of National Bakery, ensuring that its original recipes and traditions remained intact, continuing to serve communities with excellence and authenticity. And whereas National Bakery has proudly leaned on its Polish heritage while welcoming and serving all members of the Greendale community, participating in local celebrations, and contributing to the vibrancy of the village. And whereas National Bakery has built a reputation for its exceptional scratch-made products, including donuts, breads, cookies, and decorated cakes, thanks in part to its dedicated staff, many of whom are Greendale residents. And whereas National Bakery has upheld its legacy of crafting delicious punchki making it a premier destination for people across the region who travel to Greendale and other locations in Milwaukee and Brookfield to partake in this rich cultural tradition. And whereas March 4, 2025 is both Punchki Day and a momentous occasion to celebrate National Bakery's 100th anniversary, recognizing its unwavering commitment to quality, tradition, and community service. Now therefore be it resolved that Jason Saborowski, the village president, and the village board hereby proclaim March 4, 2025 as National Bakery and Deli Day in the village of Greendale in honor of this esteemed establishment and its continued contributions to our community.
So you're accepting it?
Do it, I think as we get closer to the date, I think we'll be presenting it to the business owners.
Okay. All right, citizens' comments. Persons wishing to address the board are asked to state their name and address for the record and limit their comments to only one time. Limit their comments to 3 minutes or 5 minutes if representing a group of persons. Citizens' comments shall be limited to a period not to exceed 30 minutes. Please note the village board can only discuss matters listed on this agenda. It is open. You can please just come to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Hi, this is Janet Belot. I'm at 5698 Cardinal Court here in Greendale. Some of the trees that are planted along the aprons between the sidewalks and the streets are pushing up the sidewalk slabs. I was a victim of one of those slabs a few years ago, broke my wrist. I don't know what can be done about this, but they're just getting worse and worse every year. So I would like to have some kind of a proposal to either remove slabs that are really bad and replace them or grind them down. I'm not sure what you guys could do, but it's a really bad concern, especially down School Way.
Mr. President, could I just say as a point of information, if I could put our Director of Public Works, Director Damask on the spot here, kind of what's our current procedure as far as sidewalk maintenance, and then as far as new tree planting and tree roots, what's our process on that?
So the sidewalk stones, if we can't get the sidewalk stone replaced within that calendar year when we're doing our road construction, we will grind it. We use portions of our safety grant from CIVMIC to cover the cost of that. And then also we do replace our trees when they are removed, if they are causing that issue, with more ornamental trees, if that's the circumstance where they're heaving the sidewalk. I know the location that was talked about, School Way, the majority of those are lindens. They do notoriously heave sidewalks. I have seen emails and pictures with them labeled in pink. Pink means they're either going to get ground, and this year they're getting removed. So a majority, I think, of what you're discussing or you're talking about is going to be taken care of this summer.
Thank you, Rod.
And so we would ask residents, if you do have concerning sidewalks, to please report them to us. We'll get them on our priority list, and we do have a process in place for that. But yeah, I do acknowledge that some of the older trees, we have that issue. We are no longer planting trees that have that type of root system in them.
All right, any other comments? If you could come to the podium, please, and then state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Richard Patty. I live in the L section, and I put a post on Facebook about It Takes a Village, and I think that's what Janet was replying to, and a lot of other people have also replied to my post. So I'll just read you what I had posted on there. And it says, I'd like to see the village stop planting trees on the small areas of grass between the street and the sidewalks. The reason being, as the trees mature and root systems expand, the slabs of sidewalk are pushed up. It has and is repeatedly causing trip injuries for elderly, toddlers, navigation hurdles for wheelchair individuals, and damage to property or machines like snow blowers. I understand we are a Greenbelt community, but wouldn't it be beneficial for the trees to be planted on the opposite side of the street? The DPW is constantly replacing slabs as well as cutting roots and grinding areas. Naturally, this is ongoing use of our taxpayer dollars. In some situations, I noticed the same slabs that were ground down last year have popped up again and are being marked for grinding again this year. I walked around my block, and on the 24 homes that are on the sidewalk side of the street, 13 of the slabs were ground down, and 3 more are marked with the pink or orange paint that were not ground yet. Maybe this money could be used for, that we save from the grinding and stuff, could be used for the streets, I don't know. But I had a lot of posts, and like Janet, she broke her wrist because she tripped on it, and you don't see it in the snow in the winter too. And I had another person say that they were pushing their child in a wheelchair, and the wheels got caught off the side. So I thought, like, if we could, on the sidewalk side, we could ask the homeowner if they wanted a tree there or not. And if they don't, fine, then we don't have to worry about that. And if they did, maybe we could plant it up on the lawn part instead of between that narrow section of grass. So I got 42 seconds. No, that's all I had to say. If anybody else.
I do need your actual address, please. Oh, sorry.
5334 Lakeside Drive.
Thank you.
And I have orange paint on my slab right now.
Hi, Carrie Pankowski, 7365 Hill Valley Court, and I am here about the sidewalks, but I wanted to say I did call the village DPW and reported the H section as well as the M section. When my mother was alive, we would have to walk her. They did a wonderful job fixing the sidewalk in front of her house so I could walk her before she passed. Unfortunately, the H section is all painted pink, but it is not touched. And my recommendation is when you go to see where it needs to go, put a 10-pound weight in a stroller and walk it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to hit the sidewalk and the back wheels are going to go flying up in the air. I walk with friends and our dogs twice a day, and I have fallen several times. Some of the places I've fallen are not pink, but you can't see them in winter. And on top of that, the ice is building up. We just went for a walk before I came here, and we noticed that and it's pink, but the ice is melting and it's building up on one side. So if you're coming from the other side, you don't necessarily see the ice. So you not only have the issue in summer when you're walking, but you also have the issue in winter where you're going to slip and slide. So I did want to say thank you for fixing the one in the M section. But the H section, there's some pink, but there needs to be a lot more. And I know normally they said that they ground them down, which is what they did in the M section, but it really needs to be done in the H section. I know that Old Loomis was fixed, but if you walk around, it's not necessarily fun if you have a stroller or a wagon. And being that we have a lot of new people walking around that just had babies, this past winter, we see a lot of strollers and we see them hitting these things and getting stuck. So that's all I needed to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can't, sorry, it's one time per,
It's a second citizen's comment.
there is a second citizen's comments at the end of the meeting you could speak at.
Wayne Harwood, 5103 Morley Drive. In front of my house, there's about 8 feet. I had a silver maple there that I eliminated about 15 years ago because of it upheaving the sidewalk. The sidewalk, Scott Satula would not approve in case you don't know, the prior, whatever he was, engineer.
Inspector.
Excuse me?
Building inspector.
Building inspector. And the other thing is, everybody needs to speak a little louder. I heard comments that some people couldn't hear, including me. At any rate, I had to replace the entire sidewalk, lot line to lot line. I was willing to do it because I wanted it nice. I replaced the trees with a tree that had a taproot, oaks, which Satula had to approve, instead of silver maples. So what I'd like to propose is some trustee research or check into this with the Public Works Department, because they're still planting silver maples, other species that have surface roots, and that shouldn't be. Second, in addition to that, when they do plant something, they don't stake them. So my neighbor's got a tree that's 2 years old that looks like that. It's terrible. How that's going to grow, I don't know. The other thing is, the ones that do exist, in our generation or the upcoming one, problem's not going to go away. So is it possible for somebody to check into this and propose that Greendale, through whatever procedure you go through, that the problem trees get cut down and maybe not even replaced? Because like in front of Janet's on Schoolway, there's about 2 feet there. There's not much of any species that is going to do well in that over 30 years in that 2 feet space. So possibly eliminating the problem, not by continuing to replace the sidewalk pieces over and over again. Maybe it's cut those trees down. And I know my neighbor across the street, they don't have a sidewalk. If the village wants to put a tree in the right-of-way, they have to ask if it's okay, and they can turn it down. So like that, if there's a certain amount of right-of-way at Janet's house, on the other side of the sidewalk, if they wanted to have a tree there. But again, maybe somebody, an arborist or whatever, should be consulted, and because some of these trees simply shouldn't be planted and some should be cut down. So can some of them be checked into and cut down so we don't have this problem? Please.
We will work on that and look into it.
Just as a point of clarification in response, Director DeBass, could you comment? So you mentioned that the silver maples are being planted.
Yeah, I referenced in an email earlier, I think last week, that the village never planted silver maples. When we started our tree planting program in the late 80s, you might see a lot of elms, a lot of ash that were planted by the village, but silver maples were never planted by the village. Those were existing trees from previous homeowners that decided to plant those on village right-of-way.
Well, my dad never planted one in front of my house, and it was a silver maple. Way prior to 1980, I was assuming, wrongly so evidently, that silver maples were still, just visually, looks like there's still maples being planted.
Maples are, but silver maples aren't. We didn't start a tree planting program until the late 80s in the village, so.
So generally, you're on top of that, we're going to have less of a problem in the future.
So anybody that requests a silver maple removed in front of their home because of sidewalk issue, we remove it.
What about the ones that exist? Does the department have any?
If it's not creating an issue right now,
If it is,
if it is, we will remove it. If it's not creating an issue, we will not remove it because our focus for the last decade has been emerald ash borer and the removal of ash trees that have been affected.
now you're the head of the department?
Correct.
What's your name again?
Rod.
Oh, you're the one that doesn't return my calls.
I haven't gotten a call from you.
Oh, yes, you have. Now, the question
Okay.
is.
So we got, yeah. We're not supposed to be doing this, talking.
No, I know we're not supposed to.
Yep.
In the matter of efficiency, can you please check into that, because I'll give you her location to have that cut down.
Thank you.
I understand.
Appreciate it. All right, anybody else for citizens' comments?
Hi, I'm Carl Hackbarth, 6026 Middleton Court South. I am not going to talk about sidewalks. My sidewalks were replaced recently when they did the roads, and everything is wonderful in my area. So with that said, I read recently that Greendale and Milwaukee County are discussing a land swap for lands in the Dale Creek area, which are controlled by the Milwaukee County, and for a park that is strictly owned by Greendale. What I can say is, if you go forward with that, make sure Milwaukee County cleans up Dale Creek before you take possession of it. Because there's a lot of work there to be done. It's been neglected for a long time by Milwaukee County. And unfortunately, residents that live in that area have taken to dumping their lawn clippings, their brush along Dale Creek. And that's going to have to be cleaned out before, the swap takes place. And then afterwards, Greendale is going to be responsible for getting the residents to change their behavior. The last thing I want to talk about is the intersection of 60th and Northway or Grange. I've noticed quite a few people running the red lights there. There's been a number of accidents that I've witnessed. And it occurs during the daylight, it occurs at night. There's something about the proximity of Loomis Road and that intersection that people are not focusing on the lights that are on that intersection. When it was all controlled stop signs, there weren't that problem, at least I didn't notice it. So I don't know who you get to look at that intersection, but somebody's going to get really seriously hurt. I don't know if the police chief probably has documentations of how many accidents that occur there. I don't know if you put a red light camera up there and actually catch the people who are running that and, figure out what's going on. Because, you can write off some of them to inattentive drivers or people under the influence, but there's too many people that are running that intersection. So, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other citizens' comments?
Police station, right?
Hi, I'm Virginia Emmons McNaught, 5597 Arbutus Court. I wanted to say thank you for the amazing proclamation today. It really means a lot to our family. But I also wanted to share more amazing news in the spirit of service that I learned from my parents. I started a nonprofit 20 years ago that supports families to reach their highest potential. And we do that work largely in Florida. And so this week, we were able to bring 56 Floridians to Greendale. We've occupied all of the Airbnbs that I think are on the market. And our families get to experience what life in the Midwest is. And we call it winter camp because for many of our participants, it's the first time they've experienced snow and sledding and below zero temperatures. But I just wanted to say my sincere gratitude. Our community feels extremely welcome here. We were hosted by the Historical Society today. We were being hosted by the Children's Garden on Thursday. We were hosted by the Eleanor Room on Sunday, and the list just goes on of all of the amazing support that we've been given to make sure that our families have had a great experience here in Greendale. And they love it, and they've all fallen in love with Greendale, and they want to come back. And this is our third year, and they want to come back again next year. So just thank you so much for being such an amazing and supportive community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
All right, any other citizens' comments? I see none, so I will close it. I cannot. You'd have to wait till the second citizens' comments. There's a second citizens' comments at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
All right, Finance Committee, Trustee Barbian.
Thank you, President Zaborowski. Several items on tonight. First item on the Finance Committee is discussion necessary action on the purchase police squad cameras, FC 2507. These are budgeted items that we discussed during the October-November budget session, and just getting some information to move forward for the purchase. And before I turn it over to the chief here, the Finance Committee would recommend to the board to approve the purchase of 11 new police squad camera systems and the installation cost for a total of $101,681. Thank you, Chief.
Evening. In today's society, the presence of cameras has become an essential tool for accountability and transparency. Law enforcement and judicial systems rely heavily on audio and video equipment to provide a clear and accurate depiction of events. Without reliable video documentation, officers, departments, and the communities they serve can become targets of criticism or false accusations potentially leading to costly litigation. One false claim could result in legal expenses far exceeding the cost of maintaining up-to-date and dependable equipment. In 2024, the Greendale Police Department successfully replaced all officer body cameras as part of our comprehensive camera system upgrade initiative. The second phase of this project involves replacing the outdated squad camera systems in our fleet of 11 vehicles. The current squad camera system, originally purchased in 2017, has reached the end of its service life and completed its final year of maintenance coverage. Upgrading the system is critical as it integrates seamlessly with the body camera system, ensuring continuous and comprehensive video documentation from both body-worn cameras and squad cameras. The total cost of this proposed upgrade is outlined in your packets. Motorola's quote was $91,231. EVS LLC installation, $10,450, with a total cost of $101,681, which is listed in the capital fund. Additionally, the maintenance for the system will be covered under yearly subscription fees of $2,145, which runs through 2029. This investment in updated technology will enhance our department's ability to document and review incidents, protect officers, and safeguard the village from potential liabilities. We respectfully request the Board of Trustees approval for this project.
Thank you. On my motion, I just need a second, right in here.
Second.
Second. Before I open it up here, if you watch, and we all do, across cameras, TV, whatever, body cam footage for the police departments is just necessary, particularly in this day and age. And I think this is an absolutely necessary purchase, and we've talked about it before. So I just wanted to go on record, and I'm opening it up for discussion. Trustee Feckmeyer?
Well, I'm just curious, the maintenance is only good for 4 years, and then they won't cover it anymore?
This is the current, in our budgeted quote, we have it budgeted out through 2029. So this year, and then an additional 5 years or 4 years after that, we just have to sign a new agreement. So we're locking it in for 5 years. And I don't think they'll go out much farther than that. So.
Is that about how long they last?
It's somewhere in there. I mean, technology is constantly changing, so unfortunately, yeah.
Trustee Unger?
So you did budget 2145 for this year's budget for that maintenance, correct?
We would not pay the 2145 this year because it comes with a 1-year warranty, which is included with the cost of the system for this year.
Do those cameras transfer from vehicle to vehicle easily?
Yes.
Do you do that, or do you have to hire someone to do that?
So we are bringing in a installer that specifically does this system for squads that are already operational. But when we get a brand new car, we would have it installed by our usual equipment installer.
Equipment, mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is, they transfer from car to car.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Other questions or comments from Matt? Anything? Assume that. Yeah, I just didn't want to exclude him. Since I see no other questions, I'd like to ask for a roll call on this item.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Feckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Sabrowski?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
the
you, Chief.
presentation, Chief. Next item on the Finance Committee. Finance Committee is moving for the village board to approve the purchase of a Genesis extrication cutter for a total cost of $16,790. This was also discussed in our budget, and the Finance Committee is recommending approval on this. If I could just get a second before I turn it over.
I'll second.
I have a second. Chiefs, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you.
This is like the same piece of equipment that we budgeted last year and you approved. We had the spreader. This year is the cutter. The benefits of this newer equipment is that battery powered and no longer the long hoses that are attached to the engine, and then you have a limited mobility. These are lighter, faster, easier to use. And one of the biggest things is that they have the batteries that are compatible with a lot of the other equipment that we have bought in. So in the long run, we'll be saving money, so each piece of equipment doesn't have to have two batteries of its own. Each one has the main one, and we only need a couple spares because we're not using every piece of equipment on a certain call. So we budgeted $18,590. We had an old, what's called a combi tube sitting out that we're not using anymore. We haven't used it once since I've gotten there. The rep from this company, I said, "Hey, you interested in this?" And they gave us $1,800 for it. And so then the price came down to what you saw there in your packet.
Great.
Questions for the chief? I think this saves lives, and I think it's a good idea to pursue it. Since I have a second, and I see no other questions, I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Affirmative.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Feckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zebrowski?
Thanks, Chief.
All right, thank you.
President Zebrowski, that concludes the Finance Committee for tonight.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Any committee have any reports this evening? Trustee
I'm
Unger.
going to the library first, then I'll do health.
Sure. I just have a brief update for the library. The library board has its meeting tomorrow in the lower level of the CLC at 5:30. But I just wanted to share that the Friends of the Library organization donated $17,400 of wish list items to the library, and that those funds come from donation memberships and the fundraising that the Friends of the Library do. Some of the things that the library will purchase with that donation include adult books, summer reading prize books, adult programs, a Storytime Weekly performer, the Explorer Passes, which I've talked about, so free admission to the zoo, the Betty Bryn, Botanical Gardens, Art Museum, Harley-Davidson, Wisconsin Historical Society, the Bookworm Gardens, which I believe are in Sheboygan, and the Schlitz Audubon, sensory story time and adult adaptive story time, and some other purchases. So we're very grateful for that donation. Thank you.
Just had a quick question.
Yes.
Do you know how much they earned this last, when they were auctioning off the, that Airbnb? Was it more successful because they had a prize at the end? Do you know?
I don't remember exactly. I think we're up to 82 or 83 memberships.
Okay.
So that was an incentive, and a lady in the M section won the Airbnb. So I do think it helped. So the numbers are higher than they had been in the past, so.
Great, that was a good idea.
Yep. And that was a generous donation by one of the library board members, a lady you probably all know.
Yep.
Thanks. Health Board, Trustee Barbian.
Okay. There's several components of the Health Board tonight. We did not have a meeting, however, I still have a lot to cover. Just wanted to go over some of the things that have happened, and then I'm going to go into the second and third phase. Even though we don't have meetings now we have them every other month, the Health Department just continues to chug in so many different areas throughout the community. They're always staying active. During the last time, they did 133 radon tests. 80 people attended info sessions on how to do the radon test. That's a very important aspect and very big response from the community. I think that's important to note. They also did 36 blood pressure screenings. 13 people attended the Memory Cafe. 8 people attended SAGE audience, which is, again, these are all areas that we want people in the community to participate in. And if you want to join the groups please do. Right now, they're spending a lot of time preparing for the fall flu clinics that they put on, and they're also planning for the Clean and Green event this spring. That's where we clean up Dale Creek area, the garbage and brush and so forth, over at the Children's Garden area too, and other areas that might be. A lot of work is involved. They always are going to need volunteers to help on that. That's coordinated through our Department of Public Works. Does a phenomenal job. Rod, hats off to you. They're also been working on the downtown market planning, green market as we sometimes call it. They're going to be offering food shares this year. Touched on it last year, but we're going to be expanding it this year. And again, a lot of people can gain a lot out of that. And nutrition programs. I've condensed down just a fraction of what they do month after month. So even though we don't have meetings, they're still out there involved in almost everything. Next thing I'd like to mention is I'm going to be turning over the podium to, we've been very lucky in the health department to have somebody that's already made a positive impact. Amanda, she's a UW La Crosse senior working to get her degree in public health and community education. She's been working with the health department in January, and she's working with us through the end of April. I'd like to ask Amanda to come up and share some information on the community health assessment that she's been working on, and thank her for all the participation and the impact she's made already for the health department in Greendale, which, by the way, is the best community in Wisconsin. You may not have heard that yet. I'm a little slanted.
Well, hi, everyone. As Ron mentioned, my name is Amanda, and I'm the spring intern for the health department. I'm here today just to present some updates for the health department. We have two main projects that we have been preparing and diligently working on, and these are in preparing to our connection of the 2025 Community Health Assessment, and this happens every 5 years, and it's really important for us to identify the key health trends that are going on in Greendale. Our goal is to ensure that as many community members as possible participate in this process. By community members, we mean anyone who lives here, who works here, who plays here, who prays here, or who studies here in Greendale. We have met with our design team and presented to the steering committee and collaboratively reviewed the development of 2 surveys. The overview of the data collection has come from collecting data from the community focused on qualitative methods that we have 2 different surveys for, and to see the correlation with our existing quantitative data that we have from other surveys from the Milwaukee County and the CDC, and we want to see the correlation with those. These 2 methods are our Community Health Survey and the Photo Voice Initiative. Both were developed to further understand the community health trends, and overall it will help guide us to find key health trends and concerns that may come up in the community. To start off, the Community Health Survey is called Your Voice, Your Health Community Wellbeing Survey. The questions will help us understand how to better support the community, and there are 17 questions in the survey that takes approximately 5 to 10 minutes, but that does vary on how much the individual would like to share and how much detail. If they go in greater detail, it's going to take them longer. We appreciate any community member that will take the time and share their thoughts, as the goal of the survey is to analyze the correlations with our existing data that we already have collected and identify any new emerging health trends within Greendale. The second part is the initiative called Lens on Reality, which is a photo voice. If you're not familiar with what this is a powerful tool for community members to share their personal perspectives through a photograph. Participants can take a photo in their community and explain what it represents to them. An example that I have is I did this in La Crosse, and we were asked to go out into our community and take a picture. And I went to look around my apartment and my neighborhood, and I was like, what can I take for this picture? And I decided to go to a street where it was dimly lit and explain that this photo being dark at night makes me feel unsafe. I don't know who's coming or what's in front of me. And it was my way to show how I viewed something in my community. It's a really powerful tool, a unique way for an individual to share their own opinion. We then shared that in class, and I got to hear what everyone else did there. So similarly, we want to hear from you all and see how you perceive Greendale. The photo could present something positive, something negative, or neutral. It's all up to the individual. It could be a favorite restaurant, a local park, a business, your family, your friends, anything that you think represents the community of Greendale. And there are some questions that go along with it to just help explain why you chose that photo. We're encouraging people to participate in a nomination challenge as well by sharing their photo on social media and to tag it to spread awareness of the initiative. That's completely optional. If the individual feels comfortable to share that on a shared Greendale page or on their own social media, they are allowed to do that. And we have a prompt that is linked at the end of the surveys for them to copy and paste and put in their information and then nominate 3 other people to take part of it. Then with our survey accessibility, the exciting part about these 2 methods is that we have designed them to be linked to each other. Regardless of whether you take the community health survey first or the photo voice first, at the end of each, you'll find a link directing you to the other. As I will be representing the health department, I'll be doing community outreach for both surveys. Starting today, I was at the Senior Social Club. We have a poster and flyers and half sheets all designed, and I was there and able to hand out already 10 surveys to them on paper. And then I will be in the library on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. And the goal is for me to be out in the community as much as possible, so if anyone needs help, they can easily ask me questions. As we monitor the responses that we receive, we'll decide on the best routes to continue our outreach efforts, if we need to increase them or keep them how we're doing it. And then the surveys will also be available on our website, social media, and they will be emailed out to many individuals, and paper copies can be requested at the health department. In addition, if you want to participate but you don't have a smartphone, you can send your information directly to the health department general email, and we'll provide the questions for any community member to respond to. It will be open until March 16th, and we're hoping to have it all launched and ready to go on the QR codes for tomorrow at some point, so be looking out on social media, our website, and all around, and just word of mouth. And then I do have some flyers for you all that I can pass around.
QR codes will be up and running tomorrow.
Yes, the QR codes will be up and ready tomorrow, and we just want to encourage everyone here today to spread the word and get as many community members as possible to participate, because this is for Greendale and Greendale's overall health, and help identify key health trends for the next 5 years. We want to ensure this is a critical process to supporting the health and well-being of everyone in Greendale, and we want to hear from all ages to gauge a wide range of responses to truly represent this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any questions for the trustees for the health stuff I updated, or anything for Amanda before she sits down? Excellent presentation and excellent facts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next on the subcommittee, Community Alliance of the Health Department, Trustee Unger has an update.
Yes, first I want to talk about the legislative breakfast that took place at the Hose Tower last Friday. The topic was mental health and substance use, with state reps Bob Donovan, Bob Whitkey, and Van Wangard. The event was very well attended by individuals from the community, including recovery centers, a women's shelter, police, fire, health departments, local elected leaders, and local substance misuse coalitions. There was a presentation by Community Alliance member Tyler Roberts about the societal costs of substance use, including the cost of treatment, fatalities, lost productivity, and incarceration. The state reps were asked some questions, and they also did some introductions, which were very interesting. And they talked about their work in these areas, substance use and mental health, and some of their possible priorities going into this new budget for the state and the legislative session. Some of them talked about the need for more treatment facilities. This I thought was very relative, the importance of childhood literacy and the effects of, childhood education and the impact on kids, and then them turning to substances. There was discussion about harsher consequences for drug dealers and ways to support our first responders. For instance, mental health resources on iPads that police officers and first responders can carry. So it was a really great event. Too bad there wasn't more time for citizen questions at the end, but the state reps did stay afterwards, and I did see parents going up to them and talking with them. And I am going to follow up with 3 thank you letters, and then I'm going to include some other ideas for legislation. So. A reminder that the Family Wellness event is taking place Tuesday, March 4th. I do have flyers if anyone wants to take them. I mentioned that Laura Stack from Johnny's Ambassadors out of Colorado is going to be in the area. She is going to start the day at Hales Corners Lutheran Church from 9 to 10, doing a presentation on marijuana use and high-potency THC products. Here is her bio. She's best known, for 30 years, she's best known in the business world as the Productivity Pro. Her career as a keynote speaker, best-selling author of 8 books, and corporate spokesperson came to a screeching halt after her son's death, which was, I think I've mentioned previously, by suicide. Her platform now brings prevention education to drug prevention conferences, community groups, and schools to stop youth marijuana use, particularly the use of high-potency THC products. Laura is a powerful speaker that brings Johnny's personal warning and solid research together. So, like I said, she starts in the morning at Hales Corners Lutheran Church. There will be coffee and connection. There is a registration link here. You do not have to register for the morning session, but it is encouraged. And that presentation is for individuals 18 years old and older. And then she's going to be at the Family Wellness event at the Greendale Middle School, again, Tuesday, March 4th, from 5:30 to 7:30. That's the time of the Family Wellness event. And her presentation will start at 6:30. So the Family Wellness event also includes 8th grade health advocacy poster presentations, a vendor fair of local health and wellness services and organizations. So I will keep these here if anyone wants to take those. So, thank you.
Questions for Trustee Unger in that? Is there any update from Healthy Mind, Healthy Greendale?
No meeting.
Okay. President Zaborowski, that concludes the Board of Health.
All right, thank you. Anybody else have any meetings?
PCC, Public Celebrations, we had a meeting.
Okay.
Last Tuesday. Well, we approved all the events that we're bringing here tonight. We did have a few questions and some corrections on those. We talked about trick or treat. We voted to keep it on the same day that it's been for many, many years, which is the Sunday before Halloween, and it's going to be at the same time, correlating with the Halloween parade that Gift of Wings does. We did a recap of Dickens, mostly the financials. Dickens was able to cover all of their costs, including DPW time and everything else. So that was good. What we are now responsible for, because now Pet Palooza is going to be done by Greendale Entertainment Association, and the Oktoberfest is going to be done by the Lions. So the public celebrations is going to continue with the sensory-friendly events that we've been doing. The annual garden walk, the 4th of July parade and fireworks, tree lighting, and Dickens of a Village.
Sounds good, thank you. All right, no old business this evening, and no board committee appointments. Moving on, new business. Item A, BOT 25-11, discussion and necessary action regarding a special event permit application from the Public Celebrations Committee for sensory-friendly Easter egg hunt on March 22nd, 2025. Are you just going to sit up there for the rest of this?
Yeah, you might
Yep.
well.
All right, we'll start it off with the special event application for the sensory-friendly Easter egg hunt. The Greendale Public Celebrations had submitted their application for a sensory-friendly Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. The event will be held at the Greendale Safety Center located at 5911 Grange Avenue from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. They expect 250 attendees. The event is scheduled by registration and appointment, so attendees will be limited to 30 participants at a time. The event provides sensory-friendly environment for children with special needs, allowing them to participate in an indoor egg hunt. It aims to reduce loud noises, crowds, and other environmental factors that can be challenging during traditional egg hunts. The village manager, police chief, and myself had reviewed the application, and there are no conditions and no fiscal implications associated with the event.
I move to approve the special event application from the Public Celebrations Committee for the sensory-friendly Easter egg hunt on March 22nd, 2025.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Trustee Unger?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the event itself starts at 11. In case anyone's listening in, I think it's 11 to 1:30 for the event.
You're correct. I'm sorry. Setup is 9:30 to 11, so the
Okay.
event is 11 to 1:30. That is correct. Sorry.
It's fine.
All right, any other discussion? No? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye, thank you. Item B, BOT 2512, discussion and necessary action regarding a special event permit application from Carry the Lord for the Carry the Lord's National Relay on May 7th, 2025.
So Carry the Load had submitted their application for the National Relay event. This event will take place on May 7th, 2025 from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The event will begin near 43rd Street in Cleveland and ends at Greendale's Veterans Memorial. The anticipated attendees is 25 for the walk, and it's to honor the sacrifices of nation's military, first responders, veterans, and their families. Village manager, myself, and the police chief have reviewed it, and there's no fiscal implications or no conditions recommended.
I move to approve the special event application from Carry the Load for the Carry the Load National Relay on May 7th, 2025.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Trustee Unger?
I put the wrong time.
No, I think that, so are they ending at the fire department or the Veterans Memorial? Because the map looks like it went to the fire department. Or are they stopping at the fire department before the Veterans Memorial?
The map I had associated with it showed the Veterans Memorial.
Chief?
No, it looks like the fire station or police.
Is it the fire station?
In the past, we've been sponsoring them for years before I was even here, and they come to the firehouse between 7:30 and 10:30.
Okay.
We provide them a meal, they use our showers, we wash their clothes because they're in a bus, they come
Oh,
from
really?
New York somewhere, and they're gonna end up, the groups that we work down in Texas, and at the end of May, walking. So it's military, fire, and police, that's people.
So they start
We didn't realize
in
that.
Greendale.
No, they end, yeah,
They
the-
did a group, I think they started in Buffalo.
Okay, so they end.
The termination point is at 5911, yes.
How many people usually come, chief?
We've had 11 usually on the bus, where they have 2 people walking at a time, and then the other people are on the bus, and then they rotate.
Okay.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I didn't realize you did that.
All right, good.
Yep.
All right, roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Affirmative.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Thank you. Item CBOT 2513, discussion necessary action regarding a special event permit application from the Greendale Entertainment Association for Pet Palooza on May 17th, 2025.
So the Greendale Entertainment Association has submitted their application for Pet Palooza. This event will be held on May 17th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Gazebo Park, Broad Street, in the green space east of the middle school. The GA invites everyone to join in pet-related activities, shopping, food, and drinks. There will be vendors on Broad Street, food trucks, and a petting zoo. A band will also be performing at the gazebo during the event. The village manager, police chief, and myself have reviewed the applications. The GEA has requested materials and staff time that is associated with those materials from the DPW. The total estimated cost was $964.04. This includes DPW staff time, materials, and the event fee application. This fee will be paid before the village issues the permit, and if the cost would exceed the estimate, they would have to pay the difference. If it's less than the estimate, we would reimburse them.
I move to approve the special event application from the Greendale Entertainment Association for Pet Palooza on May 17th, 2025, with the condition that payment of the fees for staff time, material, and the applications are paid prior to insurance of a permit
Issuance.
issuance.
I'll second it. Any other discussion? Trustee Barbian?
I'd just like to say, for those of you listening on YouTube or in the audience, if you haven't attended Pet Palooza, it is just a phenomenal event that keeps growing. And what is really nice about that particular thing, besides being pet-friendly, is it draws in people from all over southern Wisconsin. This isn't just a purely Greendale event. You'll find people from everywhere that want to just come up and bring their pets along, and I urge everyone to attend.
All right, Trustee Unger?
Just double checking, the map shows 2 bleachers, but they're not listed under materials. Are those there because of something else that weekend?
GEA had requested that be taken out of it, but the map was already submitted. So we do have an email stating the bleachers were removed. That's
Okay.
why they're not at cost.
Okay, so you don't need them. Okay.
All right, anything else? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Freckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Abstain.
President Zabrowski?
Aye, thank you. Discussion, BOT 2514, discussion necessary action regarding a special event permit application from the Greendale Park and Recreation for Community Safety Day on May 31st, 2025.
Greendale Parks and Recreation has submitted their application for Community Safety Day. This event will be held in the south lot of the Greendale Community Center located at 6200 South 76th Street on Saturday, May 31st from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. They're expecting approximately 150 attendees. They'll be educating participants of all ages about safety practices and engaging in an interactive manner. The Greendale Police Department, Greendale Fire Department, Historical Society, the Greendale DPW will all be present. Each department will have their vehicles on display for attendees to explore and learn about their operations. The Greendale Health Department will also be present to assist with providing safety information and activities for children. Food and non-alcoholic beverages will be available for purchase. The village manager, police chief, and myself have reviewed it, approve. There are fiscal implications, but there is no fee associated with it because it is a school event. They've requested 4 barricades, 4 trash cans, and 3 DPW staff will be coming in on overtime for a total of $643.14.
I move to approve the special event application from Greendale Park and Recreation for Community Safety Day.
Second the motion?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Freckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye, thank you. Item E, BOT 2515, discussion and necessary action regarding a special event permit application from Greendale Trail Association for a run for Greendale Parks and Trails on August 31st, 2025.
The Greendale Trail Association will host the Run for Greendale Parks event on Sunday, August 31st, 2025. The event will take place on the southwest corner of Parking Street and Schoolway from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Participants will engage in a run/walk to benefit the renovation and updates to Greendale Parks. Panther Pub is the official sponsor of the event and will be open to the public, offering food and beverages. However, the Panther Pub has not submitted an extension of premise, meaning alcohol will not be permitted outside the establishment. The following conditions have been reviewed and approved by the village manager, police chief, and myself. The Public Celebrations Committee recommended approval of the application with the conditions listed below. Obtaining county and Greendale permissions for use of their property. Confirm that insurance is updated and obtained for liability associated with the use of bounce houses. Complete vendor's application, vendor's fees, and background checks before the event, and the flyer attached to the application needs to be updated. The application references Run for Greendale Parks, but in the flyers incorrectly mentions Greendale Trails. There are fiscal implications associated with the event. The estimated cost was $510.84 for village materials and staff time, and the Greendale Parks have paid that fee.
I move to approve the special event permit application from the Greendale Trail Association for Run for Greendale Parks and Trails on August 31st, 2025, contingent on the condition number 1, number 4 is listed in the staff report.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Trustee Unger?
So is the organization doing the pickup and drop-off of the supplies the way it's indicated in this application, or is village staff doing that?
No, staff is dropping it off.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
And I do believe that, and I know you did mention it, I do believe that Panther Pub will be applying for an extension of premise, so we'll have to work on that.
So we had a separate email from Jeff that said that he is not going to have alcohol. He is just going to have water and soda available for the event.
I know, I talked to him after that, but, so, just to let you know.
Oh, if there is alcohol, does that have to be added in?
They'll have to submit an application.
Yeah, he knows, he can revise it, so.
Where they're going
We'll
to
talk
carry
about it.
to, though?
Well, we'll have to talk to Jeff, but my understanding is they would just do like a premise. He said that right by your parking lot there, where they park. He said he talked to you about that.
That's not a thing.
Okay.
That's not allowed.
Should contact the village clerk.
All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian.
Aye.
Trustee Stout.
Aye.
Trustee Unger.
Aye.
Trustee Peckmeyer.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Olet.
Aye.
President Zabrowski.
Aye, thanks. Item FBOT 2516, discussion as to action regarding a special event permit application from the Milwaukee County Historical Society for Trim Barn Farms Harvest of Arts and Crafts on September 6th and 7th, 2025.
So Milwaukee County has submitted their application for the annual Trimborn Farms Harvest and Arts and Crafts event. The event will take place at Trimborn Farms located at 8881 West Grange Avenue on Saturday, September 6th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday, September 7th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're expecting approximately 1,500 guests and will offer a shuttle service from the Macy's parking lot running from 9:45 a.m. to the last shuttle at 4:15 p.m. each day. They have requested assistance from the Greendale Police Department with an auxiliary officer to be present on site during the event and overnight to monitor the facility. Milwaukee County will compensate that auxiliary officer for their time. The village manager, police chief, and myself had reviewed the application and approved with no conditions. Public Celebrations Committee also recommended approval of the application.
I move to approve the special event permit applications from the Milwaukee County Historical Society for Trimborn Farm Harvest of Arts and Crafts on September 6th and 7th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Trustee Barbian?
I don't think you're probably the right one for me to ask this to, but maybe they talked about, a year ago when this came up, they talked about perhaps expanding to more events at Trimborn, because they are great. Do you know, is this still going to be only one, or are they thinking of adding some more? maybe?
I was in contact with Mary Jo for probably the last year, and yeah, she has not said anything about expanding any events.
Okay. They used to do a Civil War enactment and
Yeah.
Sure.
things like that that were really cool.
That was
She hasn't mentioned it, but if she does, I'll let you know.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zebrowski?
Aye, thank you. Item G, BOT 2517, discussion necessary action regarding a special event permit application from Greendale Step Up to Better Health Work Group for the Step Up for Better Health Fun Run and Walk on October 19th, 2025.
The Greendale Health Department has submitted their application for the annual Step Up to Better Health Run Walk. This event will take place on October 19th, 2025, starting at the Greendale High School lower parking lot from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. They expect 1,200 attendees for the 5K run or 2-mile walk, which will help support healthy programming in the village of Greendale. The walk/run will utilize village walks paths surrounding the downtown area of the village. The village manager, police chief, and myself have reviewed the application and approve it with no conditions along with the PCC. There were some fiscal implications, minimal 2 hours of staff time, and a few materials from DPW for a total of $95.28.
The health department? Okay.
Yep.
Came out of public, okay.
Oh, okay.
I'd be happy to do it.
Okay, I move to approve the special event application from the Greendale Health Department for Step Up to Better Health Run Walk.
I'll second it.
There you go. Any discussion? No. Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zebrowski?
Aye, thank you.
Great event.
All right. Item H, BOT 2518, discussion necessary action is to set the date and time for Halloween trick or treat.
At the PCC meeting on February 11th, 2025, the committee discussed the date for the village's trick-or-treat observance. While we had previous discussions at previous board meetings about moving the event to a Saturday, the committee determined that doing so would create confusion and conflict in the existing events that take place on that weekend. So the committee recommended the approval of trick-or-treat for Sunday, October 26, 2025, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the village of Greendale.
I move to approve the 2025 trick-or-treat date and time as October 26, 2025, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
I second.
Yes.
I just want to say, I think this is a very sound decision by the group. I did, just when I knew this was on the agenda, I asked a couple of my neighbors, and everybody's used to the times that have been there for ages. If that other suggestion to change it, I think it would have created a lot of confusion in Greendale, so I'm very glad you guys made this choice.
Yeah, about that decision, that was just talk at the Park and Rec meeting.
Yeah.
It was brought to us, and that's kind of why we kind of brought it up to see what it was, but evidently it was, looked into it, and like you said, being in conflict with other events down there totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So, again, it was brought to us that, people were kind of concerned or, because of school night, why not do something different, do it on a Saturday? So it was, like you said, it was just an idea, so.
Right.
But I'm glad it was looked into and here we go, so.
Another reason was, Saturday, there's not a lot of other communities that are having trick-or-treat, and that would put an unnecessary burden on our residents. A lot of people from outside the village would come in trick-or-treating, and we wouldn't want that. We've had complaints on that in the past. A lot of the other municipalities are having it on Sunday.
Yeah, they all do it.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian? Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zebrowski?
Aye, could have abstained.
Yeah, because you're the...
Item I, BOT 2519, discussion necessary action on a referral to Plan Commission to consider revisions to section 17.363 of the village zoning code regarding tourist homes.
So as you know, our new Director of Inspection Services started recently, a couple months ago now, Paul Wolfgram, and so we recently went over the village's ordinances relating to, they're referred to as tourist homes in our ordinance. They're also called short-term rentals, vacation rentals, Airbnbs, that sort of thing. and kind of noticed some inconsistencies with some things in our code and state statutes, as well as some vagueness about what our procedures are. And so turned it over to our village attorney and asked for him to take a look. And he did come back with some recommended changes, actually a recommended rewrite of that ordinance. And so I outlined in the staff report, I won't go through all of them now, but just some of the areas that were recommended that we would address. And so at this time, looking for, if the village board agrees, to refer this matter to the plan commission to consider revising the ordinance. And also if the board would have any initial thoughts or direction on that, if there's anything in this staff report that you're particularly interested in or had questions on, we can give that direction to the plan commission.
Trustee Olet.
The only thing that stood out to me was the going from what I don't think we have a minimum right now to 6 days. I think that would be a hardship for the owners, because a lot of times I know personally from the Airbnb people from our chamber, they have like just the weekend usually, not a minimum days of 6 days. And that was one of the recommendations. I would not be for that. I think that would be too many days.
Yep, and so that's good feedback. The example in your packet shows the most restrictive a municipality can be on the days. So right now it's showing that a required minimum stay would be 6 days, which, as Trustee Olet mentioned, would be a bit of a burden for some of the Airbnb owners who, rely on just a weekend rental. So this is an example of what the most restrictive is, and obviously we could do less or no minimum. It also shows that the maximum would be 180 days that we could restrict someone from renting it out. So you could actually put a maximum on 180 days per consecutive 365-day period that they could rent it out as a short-term rental.
Right. I would not be for that either.
Trustee.
So there is still these restrictions by the state that we cannot limit the numbers of Airbnbs or tourist homes on a block or in a neighborhood. We cannot limit the number, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so nothing's changed that way. I just see in number 3 that he feels the language is too vague, but okay, I was just double checking.
All right. Go ahead.
I had a few questions, comments. So we're no longer going to use the Southwest Suburban Health Department for fees and checks?
We would. So there would be, we currently have 2 different licenses, and this includes keeping 2 licenses. One through the health department, which is also an extension of the state license, and then one through the village, which is through our inspections department. We don't have to have our own permit. We could keep it just the health department permit. But in talking to Paul, there is value in having our own permit, because he's going to look for things that the health department's not necessarily going to look for, such as, building safety, those types of things. So we do think having the 2 permits is still valuable. It's just right now is missing some kind of clarity. He's like, well, what am I inspecting for? This adds a little bit more information, what code references he's actually inspecting for when you would do that.
I would think it's 2 separate things, but so they're charging $165 pre-inspection fee, or a $200 pre-inspection fee, and an annual fee of $165, and they get that money?
Correct.
It's kind of crazy that we're not getting any permit money, but.
And we renegotiated our agreement with them, so that's basically what they're getting paid. They don't get any administrative fee from us, so they're getting their revenues from that permit fee 100%. We were actually also paying them a monthly administration fee. We no longer pay that, but they do keep that revenue, the permit fees, to cover their costs.
Okay. And you did have it in the first part that, I guess they're recommending they take out that the village manager has a right not to approve based on situations in Greendale, like 2 on 1 block. Like a friend of mine had one on either side of her on Clover Lane, which I think is horrible for her. It was horrible for her. It's not that case anymore, but so you're not going to put any kind of stipulation there that the village manager would have a right to?
I wouldn't have a leg to stand on, really. Right now, it's very vague, and so that was one of my questions was, how would I, how would I implement this in practice? And you can't, there's no such judgment call you're allowed to have about that, because that gets to the other question, limiting the number and that type of thing. But it is something I looked into.
Fortunately, there's been 8 for, 4 years? When I first checked into it, there was 8. So they've kind of come and gone, and it's still at 8, so it's not growing horrendously, but, and then on the ordinance, Part C, number 1, that should just be reworded. I didn't get that at all. I read it over and over, like, what are they trying to say here? 6 or fewer consecutive days, no more than 180 total days with any consecutive 365-day period. And I just think it was clear.
Yeah, and that means that, like I said, like, we could have a requirement that if you're gonna rent it each time, you have to rent it at a minimum of 6 days.
Yeah, I think you should change it. We're going to say maybe a minimum of 6 days instead of 6 or fewer.
Okay.
It's not clear to me. I don't think it'd be clear to a lot of people if, it's the Airbnb people reading this, right, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and it's the, the legalese that it's not super clear all the time to someone who doesn't read that type of verbiage day in and day out, but I can certainly see if there's a clearer way to phrase that.
And then just on number 4 under C, number of occupants in any dwelling unit shall not exceed the limits set forth for the code, and then for hotels, motels, tourist rooming houses. Is there a website or something you could connect them to for that? Is there a website you could put in there where they could look up that code?
Yep, you could just Google search it. I mean, we wouldn't have a link in the code itself, but yeah, you could just search the administrative code for that.
And when they do the inspection, do they make sure that they're doing the guest book, that they're keeping charge of the guests? Or is that just, in case we need it, they better have it?
That's a good question. It didn't come up as something that the health department is inspecting for. I would guess it's more of the latter, where if there was an issue that we would say, can we see, you're supposed to have this guest book, can you provide it? And so I can double check that, but I don't think it's something that we would normally inspect on.
You couldn't add it to the inspector's list of things to look for? Do the inspector look for like electrical issues and how, what does our inspector look for?
We can ask him when he's, I can ask him to come to the next meeting. He kind of had an idea what sort of kind of be the main things. I mean, he wants to obviously do it consistently. He's going to look for, the health department's already going to look for smoke detectors. He's going to look for, safety of balconies, safety of entrances and exits and things. So yeah, electrical, I would assume as he walks through, if he notices something dangerous, he's gonna, so yeah, we can ask him that level of detail when he's at the next meeting.
Okay.
Trustee Barbian.
Just quick question for clarification. So we're recommending to forward this to Plan Commission looks it over, then it comes back to the village board, we can see what the recommendations are.
Yeah, it would be helpful to know if you're all on board with what Trustee Olet mentioned. We don't want to be as restrictive as the maximum on this.
I agree with that.
So any direction you can give, I can change the draft that we bring to them. If you want to have a minimum days, if you want to say minimum 2 days or none at all, it'd be good to know.
Yeah, I'm glad of that. I think 6 is way too much for what I see what happens down here in Greendale. It's weekends pretty much. If you have a holiday weekend, you get 3 days. That's about it. So.
That would be a way that we could limit in the future if too many started opening up. We could change that.
Could always change it.
Part of the ordinance. Because that was the fear, especially with the originals, that all of a sudden you're going to have 5 on a street or really impacts the neighborhood.
Yeah, and that's really where you have discretion. If you wanted to limit the number, you can't limit the number, but if you wanted to make it more restrictive, then you could adjust the days, but then are you making it impossible for any of them to really have a have an operation, so.
Well, I would think the existing ones we grandfathered in at that point, or not? It's
No, I think
yearly
each year
license.
they're issued a new license and they're subject to the ordinance in that year, so, yeah.
Trustee Lett?
Just had a question on, what is the purpose of a guest book? Why do they require that? I mean, they want to know who's staying there? I mean, I don't get it.
I think it's just record keeping. I don't think it's, oh, we enjoyed the.
Yeah, right, I know that, exactly. I'm like, what is the point?
Well, that's part
Not
of
a, not a diary.
That's part
Yeah.
of the state ordinance, isn't it, the
Wonder.
record keeping? State requires that?
I thought it was a state.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's state.
I was just gonna pop in and say it is part of ATCP 72.16, registration of guests, so it is in there. The register shall be kept intact and available for inspection by representatives of the department for at least 1 year. So that is part of the state. So the health department.
See who's staying there, yeah.
No.
Have any movie stars or?
So that, yeah, so the being in the administrative code, that would be under
Could
the
be.
health department's purview
Yes.
to inspect on.
There's a crime committed in the
All
area.
right.
Oh, that's true. Could be
roll
because of
call.
crimes.
Anita.
Hey, I just got a couple quick comments
Yes.
myself. I also don't like the 6-day limit. That's too restrictive. I would be okay with like 2 days. My experience was anyone with 1 day is just there to have a party, and it's, in our residential areas, not necessarily what we're looking for. So if we were going to restrict it, I would be okay with 2 days, but nothing longer than that. And then I agree with Donna on the 180 days. That would just be way too restrictive and it wouldn't let these things succeed. So those are my 2 comments.
Thank you, Matt. All right, I'm going to move to refer to the Village Tourist Homes Ordinance to the Plan Commission for review and recommendation.
I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Peckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Sabrowski?
Aye, thank you. Any officer reports this evening?
If I could just ask Chief Rosenau just a brief update on a accreditation for his department? If we could get the Jerry Springer microphone over to him?
Thanks again. I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about accreditation, or our recent accreditation through Wisconsin Law Enforcement Accreditation Group, or WILEAG. So for a department our size, this achievement is no small task. Accreditation is often seen as something that larger agencies with dedicated staff to manage the process do, but we took it on with our existing resources, demonstrating our commitment to professionalism and accountability. What this means for Greendale is simple. Our policies and practices meet the highest standards in law enforcement. It ensures that we're operating as efficiently, transparently, and professionally as possible. It's not just about checking boxes, it's about making sure that we're providing the best possible service to our community. Achieving this designation requires a thorough review of our operations, from officer training to use of force policies to evidence handling and community engagement. It was a department-wide effort, and I want to recognize the hard work of our staff in making this happen. Ultimately, accreditation builds trust. It reassures our residents that their police department is meeting the gold standard for law enforcement. It also strengthens our position when applying for grants, as many funding opportunities prioritize accredited agencies. And I want to thank the board for their ongoing support, as this recognition would not be possible without the resources and backing you provide. We're proud to serve Greendale at this level, and we'll continue striving to meet and exceed these standards in the years to come. So I just did a little looking while I was sitting here to see how many agencies statewide. I don't know exactly how many police departments there are in our state. I want to say there's probably like 400 maybe. But right now there's about 50 agencies that have full accreditation, and there's about 25 that have the core, and we're one of those 25 now, so pretty exciting.
Well done.
right, any other reports at this time?
I just want to do a quick reminder, so on March 4th at 5 PM, we'll have a historical commission meeting, and then that will be before our 6 PM regular board meeting, so that's March 4th. And on March 5th will be a plan commission meeting at 5 PM. And then on March 18th, before that board meeting, will be a 5 PM Public Health, Safety, and Welfare Committee meeting to go over updates on the village's code enforcement program. And then this Thursday is the Greendale Gala event at the Berner Botanical Gardens. And so we'll be presenting our village volunteer awards, as well as having the Chamber of Commerce present the Business of the Year awards.
Awesome, thank you. I have nothing at this time. We'll open up citizens' comments. Persons wishing to address the board are asked to state their name and address for the record, and limit their comments to one time, and limit their comments to 3 minutes or 5 minutes if representing groups of persons. Citizens' comments shall be limited to a period not to exceed 15 minutes. Please note the village board can only discuss matters listed on this agenda. Open. Yes, and address, please. And then you only get 41 seconds.
Richard Patty, 5334 Lakeside Drive, Greendale. Okay, I just have a couple of comments and questions. I moved to this house I own on Lakeside Drive in 1993, and I had a big elm tree there. It was cut down because it heaved up the sidewalk also. And since then, in 2016, the sidewalk heaved up, and it's heaved up again. I just wanted to, let you know that. Also, is there, when I submit something to the Department of Public Works, is there a way that I can attach a picture along with my comments? If there's an issue like the sidewalk or pothole in the street or whatever. Because I've tried to do that before, but I didn't see any way where I could attach pictures of that.
We can provide you a business card with the director's email address on it.
Well, okay, just directly to email him? Rob?
Rod, yep.
Yeah, okay. Also, I was wondering, to the police chief, the monitors that are the dash cams, are those like plug and play? Can you take them out and put them in a different car, or are they going to be permanently mounted?
They can be taken out.
Oh, so they're plug and play? Oh, that's pretty nice. Also, my last question is, on things that we discussed here today, as far as like the trees, when is some kind of result, do you just, by end of tonight, do you discuss that? And
It has to be on the agenda for us to discuss. So in actuality, this portion is just for like one-way communication. So
Okay.
like you kind of give the board the comments.
Right.
And then the board members can either add it to an agenda in the future, or in this case, if it's something that staff can take care of. It sounds like Public Works Department can get back to you on any of your issues, and it doesn't seem like there needs to be an agenda item for the board to take up in the future, but that's, 2 board members can bring up an agenda item in the future.
Okay, yeah, I just want, so like, would I get replied back to because I came up here and gave my name and stuff, or?
No.
So there's no way I would know what's going to happen after today?
It's just a public comment for you to make comments, and then, but you can reach out to myself, the Public Works Director, anybody individually after the meeting to help resolve an issue.
Okay. That's about it. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
No, I want to make a comment before we close.
All right, I see none, so I will close it. Trustee Barbian?
I just wanted to thank the scouts here for attending our meeting.
Not falling asleep.
Yeah. It's real important to know government that runs your community, and I think it's a credit to you for coming and sitting through our meeting, and hopefully you've learned a lot from listening to how this transpires. It's a very good thing to have for young people to understand, and I appreciate you being here.
Same. Thanks, guys. All right. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion?
All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
It's a little early, I vote no.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger.
Aye.
Trustee Peckmeyer.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Olet.
Aye. Again, I-
President Zabrowski.
Thank you, everybody.